student in UK. Okay, that's all right. It's always good to see someone interested. And hello, San Cholo. Sorry if I butchered your name. If you don't mind to type where you from. Hello, hello. From Taiwan. Wow, it's very international. We're gonna wait for a second, for a couple more minutes in case someone or more gonna join us.
I think we can start
Okay,
as well as also waiting for the others.
and it's recorded as well, right?
Yeah, it's
So,
live stream at YouTube, so it should be
so if
fine.
okay, so I don't have to record on this computer, or just do it to be safe, just to
Yeah,
be
it's
safe.
okay.
Okay.
So I'll open. Hi everyone. Good night for everyone in Cambridge and good morning for everyone in Melbourne or the other parts of the world. My name is Indira. Thank you so much for joining our meeting today. I am an MBA student at Cambridge Judge Business School, and I am on behalf of Cambridge Indonesian Student Association, which I am the External Affairs Manager, and also Kevin is also the External Affairs Manager of Cambridge Indonesian Student Association. So together, both of us will explore about the topic of high potential individual visa in UK. So disclaimer, pardon us if we sometimes switch to Indonesian because both of us are Indonesian, but we will try our best to keep this conversation in English to cater everyone. Before going into the main topic, Kevin, if you don't mind, can you introduce yourself a little bit about your work and education background?
Yes, thank you, Indira, for the opening. So, hi guys, my name is Kevin. As you know, that I shared this webinar, and I'm just gonna introduce myself. So, yes, my name is Kevin. You can call me Kevin, and if you have any question, you can just raise a give a reaction, or just put in the chat. So my background, I have a bachelor degree in electrical engineering. I got it from Maranatha Christian University in Bandung, Indonesia. That's where I come from. And then I have worked for a subcontractor from Schneider Electrics for about 10 months in Indonesia as well. So it's in BSD City. And after that, I decided to pursue my master degree in engineering management in University of Melbourne. So that program is only 1 year. And then I applied for the HPI visa, and I got work as an graduate automation engineer in Domino Printing Science. It's Domino, but not the Domino pizza. We are on a industrial printing industry. It's based in Cambridge, United Kingdom. So that's just a quick brief from my introduction and background.
Very interesting. So today we will talk more about the visa that you are using in order to work in UK. But before that, I want to explain to the audience about our discussion format today. So the discussion format today will be a fireside chat about 20 minutes of me and Kevin talking about his experience working in the UK, about his experience applying for the high potential individual visa. But along the conversation, please, if you have any question, just type the question in the chat. And after the fireside chat, we will have another 20-minute session for Q&A, which you can directly ask to Kevin, or you can type the question in the chat and I will read the question for you so Kevin can answer for you. If we're good, then we can go to the first question that I'm very actually curious about you. Why do you choose to work in UK among all other countries? Because you studied in Australia and also you come from Indonesia. So why UK?
Okay, just a little bit of story in background of studying in Australia. So in order to get a temporary graduate visa in Australia, your study has to be minimum of 2 years. And I just got my master's degree in 1 year program. So that's why I'm not eligible to apply for the graduate visa in Australia. And then because of that, I need to research which country can I work in. And I found that the UK has a high potential individual visa program, which is basically a graduate visa, but it's for uh, the student from top 50 university outside the UK, as long you graduated in the past 5 years for, from the date that you're going to apply. So that's one of the main reason why I choose UK, because I was thinking like I want to have an experience working abroad. I have degree from Australia, and why don't I just use that to find more experience abroad?
So upon
So
your
yeah.
research, like working in UK, you must have stumbled upon some options for you to apply to work here. So among those options, why did you choose high potential individual visa? What was the procedure like? And what was the other alternatives that you stumbled upon?
Okay, so beside this option, I believe there are several more options which is working in the Netherlands. I quite forgot the name of the visa, but if you are top 100 university in the world, same case, but it's just top 100. Uh, you can apply to get a working visa as a graduate in Netherlands for just a year. And another option is, I believe, I meant to check this again, but if I'm wrong, you can correct me. From the top 200 university, you can work in Japan. So that's quite of the options, but in the end, I choose UK because I would say I'm more interested in UK like culture and all, because I like the city as well. Like London is very pretty, Cambridge is very beautiful, and then uh, I would say it's English speaking country, right? I mean the Netherlands is one of the open uh, nation for speaking English in their country, but I kind of research which kind of job or like the industries that kind of suited with more, and in the end I choose UK.
I see. And when you were thinking for applying to work in UK, what types of visa other than HPI that you know of, and why did you choose HPI eventually?
So as far as I know, you have like other two options in UK, like the global talent visa and then the skill work visa. But the skill work visa, you need sponsors from the company to work in the UK, and it's quite more difficult to get a skill work visa. And then global talent visa is, I think you need to apply for some assessment body from your respected field, and you need to prove yourself that you are uh, top of the on your field, like the top person on your field, and the body can give you like sponsorship to the government to give you the global talent visa. And so in the end, I choose this HPI because it's more straightforward as a graduate. Like you can apply that as long you're in top 50 university, and you don't have to get sponsorship before you work here, basically. And if you got skill work visa, and in the end you didn't quite like your job in some sense, you cannot change to other job. You need to find another company that want to sponsor you. So with this HPI visa, you don't need to have sponsor from a company, and you can just choose another job if you find that you're not suitable enough in your current job. So that's more flexible. So yeah, that's why I choose HPI.
I see. So, if you don't mind, could you walk us through like what was the procedure like to apply for the HPI visa?
Yeah, sure. I can share my screen. Uh, where is my Google? Yep, share. So can you all see my screen?
It's still loading in me. Yeah, it's here now.
Okay, I think there's someone here. Want to join. So what I'm going to get through you is just like from the government website. It's pretty straightforward if you uh, just read it, and I'm just gonna walk you through it. So in the overview, so an HPI visa gives you permission to stay in the UK for at least 2 years. That's for bachelor's and master's degrees holder, and you have PhD, you can get for 3 years. So to apply, you must be have awarded qualification by an eligible university in the last 5 years. Now, what's an eligible university? So basically, you need to be in top 50 university, but based from three body assessment. One is from the QS top university, and then from the Times Higher Education uh, rankings, and the last one is from Shanghai top 50 university as well. So in order to be eligible for your university to be applying the HPI visa, you need at least two of this body in the top 50. Not all three. You cannot eligible for one. For example, uh, the University of Sydney, I believe it's ranked 19 here, but it's not in the top 50 in the Times Higher Education and in Shanghai. So they are not eligible for the visa. And the other thing to keep in mind is it's not the latest year, it's for past 5 years, and it's on the year that you are graduating. So for example, if I'm graduating from I know a case of a university like Australian National University. I believe it's on the rank 30 in like 2018 or 2019. It's still in the past 5 years, right? If you're graduated from the Australia National University in 2019, and it's on the list on the 2019 and at least both of two of three, you are eligible. So it's based on which year you are graduating from. So you might want to take a look based on the year you are graduated, and the maximum of it is 5 years. So if you are like graduated in 2018, you might not be eligible for it because it's already 6 years, and it's a academic calendar as well. So if some of university, yeah, like in Australia example, you can graduate it in the middle of the year or in the end of the year. So they have the list for that as well. If you click this eligible university, they have the list here. So now it's from November 2019 to October 2020. If your university is stated here, so university like Australian National University is only eligible for the graduate that in 2019, but I believe in the next year they are not here. So from Australia is only from University of Melbourne. There's that. And then as I stated before, for master and bachelor, it's 2 years. And if you have PhD, it will last for 3 years. And then if your HPI is ended, you cannot extend it. However, you may be able to switch a different visa, for example, the skilled work visa, which is sponsored by the company you're working in. So for me, I would say I'm lucky enough that my company state that they happily sponsored me after my HPI visa ended. So it's different case with everyone. So even though you get a work or a job here and your company didn't want to sponsor you. And there's some several cases of that as well. Should I keep going to how to apply, how long did it takes, or is there someone had a question first, or maybe is that I'm speaking too fast or that clear?
No, it's very clear. I think I got an insight. I think I got an interesting insight that if your university is not in the list for 2019, but you
Yep.
graduated in 2019, it becomes tricky. I didn't know that before, so I think it's a very interesting insight. But what I'm curious about is for you personally in your timeline, was it like, did you apply for the visa first before applying for the jobs, or did you do it
Yeah,
in parallel, or how was it like?
good question. And that's what everybody is gonna think, right? Should I get a job first or should I apply the visa first? What if I got a visa but I can find out the job? Do I spend my years, my time looking for a job? So everyone, like, the experience is different for everybody. So in my experience, I would say it's best to apply for both. Like I mean, if you apply for a job or for a work, you will not call the next day for an interview, right? There's like a recruitment process, like the HR will screen your CV and they will get in touch with you to schedule an interview, that kind of stuff. So it's not like an instant. So in my case, in my experience, I apply in parallel. So I apply for a job. I look for like a job that suited me with my background, with my education, and then I apply for the visa as well because here it's it for how long that it takes the visa to get the decisions. If you're outside UK, it's 3 weeks and it's quite soon, right? If you apply and you just have like 3 weeks to find a job, and so I would say it's very very uh I don't know tight in terms of the timeline. So for me, I apply in April and then I look for work way before April anyway. So I know this HPI visa going on. I look at the process and that time I'm still looking for a job. So in my case, I was very very lucky. I would say I applied for less than 25 company, which is very very quick. I mean very very uh not that much. I will say like some people will apply for like hundreds and getting interview like for tens or even more and then still haven't got a job. Uh, so I applied for like less than 25 and then I got my first interview at this Domino Printing Science and I got interviewed twice. So I applied the visa in April and then it's granted like for 3 weeks, so for like a month in May, April, May, yeah. And then in the month of May, I was getting called interview with Domino in the first week, and I do the interview, and then they gonna uh, they told me to give the decisions for the next interview next week, and in the next week I got the second interview, and after the second interview for the next week again they reached out that I got the role and asked where can I work, and in the third week of May I'd say okay, I'll work in the first week of June, which is I have like 2 weeks to prepare everything and fly to UK, move all of my stuff there and looking for like a place to stay and all. So that's quite a journey for me, but I would say that I am very very lucky that I am able to get a job that quick, just for like a month after my visa is granted, and then in the next month I'm ready to work. So that is my case. I'm not here to brag. I'm here to encourage you guys that it is doable, it is possible. Like, what can I say is if you already know what kind of work you want based on your experience, if you match it with your CV, with the company that is aligned with your industry, I would say that you can find the job that you need. So that's the timeline for me.
I see. I see. It was such a journey from what you told
Yeah.
us. So we have a question here from one of our audience, but before
Yeah.
going into the Q&A session, I have one last question for you. So what is your like general tips and trick to apply for jobs in UK? And in your experience so far, how has been the environment of working in UK?
Uh, Sorry, I was reading to the chat. Sorry. So the timeline was started. Yeah, it's so I apply for more like the jobs in March as well, and then yeah, I applied for like 20-ish companies, and yeah, that's pretty much timeline. Sorry, Indira, what's the question again?
So my last question was,
Yeah.
what's your general tips and trick to apply for
Okay.
jobs in UK? And so far from your experience, how has been the work environment to work in UK?
Okay. The tips and trick. I mean, I can share my CV just so you know, guys, what kind of template, or you can feel free to copy it. I mean, this is the CV that I send to the companies in the UK, and I still use my Indonesian number, and I still use my residency in Indonesia. But somehow I'm able to get the job. But it is like advisable if you get like a UK number. I think there's a website that allows you to buy like international number and get messages and calls from the country that you pick. But that's as far as I know, because I didn't use that, and that's maybe a good tips, because probably most of the company will consider your application if you are like somehow looks like already resides in the UK, and maybe you can borrow your friend's address somehow if you have. But I don't have any friends living in UK back then, so I went to the UK alone without knowing anyone. And also, speaking of the timeline as well, so after your visa has been granted, you have 3 months to enter UK to get your BRP card. I think it's gonna be changed soon, because the BRP card things are is gonna be expired in March in this year, and so next year it's gonna be changed to e-visa. But I just heard a news that your BRP card, the expiry date is extended until next year of March, probably for some reasons like holidays or something. They kind of postpone it. So if you're applying this year, which is only like less than a month, uh, I don't know what's kind of the process after you get if you after we change from a PRP card, biometric residence permit card, to an e-visa. So basically for me, I need to enter UK with or without a job after my visa is being granted to take my PRP, because you cannot send your PRP abroad, and you have to pick from your choice of post office anywhere in the UK, and I choose London because it's the first destination to go. So we have 3 months to get your PRP, and after that, you can freely enter UK with your PRP for like 2 years or 3 years based on your degree. And then there's that. Yeah. Another tips is looking for a place to stay is kind of tricky if you don't have a job, because some of the landlords might want you to have proof you can support you financially for the next 3 or 6 months. So some, like most of them, ask the payment for 3 or 6 months, which is very expensive, I would say, living in UK. If you have the money and all, maybe you gonna use that most of it for the first couple months, 2 3 months, if you enter UK without a job. So it's quite tricky in that area. For applying jobs, my tips and trick is very simple. Like if you have experience or your education, just align that with the, you need to know which company and what role you want to apply. That is very important because I have an experience as an automation engineer. So I know the companies that are having that kind of roles, like Schneider, Siemens, or some big names in Europe. And then I happened to find this company called Domino because I have experience finding their machine in my previous job. So I kind of know what their own industries in, and just align that with your experience, align that with your soft skill, align that with your education, technical skills. If you have any volunteering, you can put it. I mean, my working experience literally just like 10 months from September 2021 and June 2022 before I went to pursue my master degree. So I put a lot of casual jobs while I was in Australia as well. I worked as a resident assistant, like a shopkeeper, like just say that they might ask you, right? I have the question from the interview, like, why do you working as this? Like I would say like, no, my answer is like, no matter small the job, I will take it seriously as a job. So I will work hard with that, just gaining not just for the money, but for the experience, like being with the shopkeeper, you interact with people, something like that. Just make your stories good in your interview as well. And if you have language proficiency, and then maybe some other uh your achievement. And speaking of applying with your language proficiency, this is kind of tricky as well. So if you have this in knowledge of English, so the first thing is, sorry, I kind of missed one step. So if you are graduated from the university or outside UK, you need to uh, you you need to, let me check. I think this is the documents you need to apply. You need to pay for access to check your qualification is valid. So basically, uh, you need to give your diploma or your bachelor or master to be assessed by this ACTES. This is a body that uh, certified or validate your certification about your diplomas and all. And the tricky thing is, when I first applied, like I don't know, should I should I prove my English proficiency or not? Because I'm not from a country that an English speaking country, right? And they have a list for it in their knowledge of English. Like, who does not need to provide the knowledge of English? Like these countries that don't have to prove it, but I'm from Indonesia. And then, oh no, should I take another IELTS or TOEFL? Apparently, if you are taught in my case, if you're taught your degree in English, you don't have to pick the high potential individual with visa, I believe. So you don't have to pick the with English proficiency. So you don't have to prove your English proficiency if your degree was taught in fully English. So I didn't do that, and then I can apply. So the first thing to do is actually this bit. You need to pay for this body to assess your qualification, and they don't do checkings of your years. Like if you graduated in 2019, but you're not, but your university is not listed here, they don't do that. They just they just validate your qualification. So you need to be mindful on that. Then after that, you can start applying for the HPI visa. Okay, so other documents like proof of personal saving to support yourself in UK for at least, how much is it? I think they used to have the numbers here, it's somewhere in like 1,200 pounds sterling. So you can convert that to your respective uh, um, your respective, what is it called again? Your exchange rate. Yeah. And then how much that is cost, it depends on the year. Like you need to pay $210 for the actis to check your qualification is valid. So 225 European UK. The application fee is 800 quid, and the healthcare surcharge is for each year. So if you're on bachelor and master, you need to time this 2 times. But if you have a PhD, 3 times this, so 3,000-ish. And yeah, to support yourself, you need to have at least 1,270 pounds sterling. So yeah, the 2 years will cost you this much, plus this much, and this much. And if you need to have support source, prove your savings, and 3 years for this. There are some exception. If you work in public public sector healthcare, you can like have a refund. You may be able, but I don't have any experience in this. Like you must have at least 1,270 counseling. We have another question. Maybe should I answer that first?
Yeah, so maybe I can start with the first question.
Yeah.
The question is from Andrew. So he
Oh,
asked,
oh
do
yeah,
you
I think I missed
know,
that.
yeah, do you know if big company like Big Four such as PwC, Deloitte, and others accept this visa scheme, or only small
Hmm.
video company accept this visa scheme?
Okay. First of all, my company is multinational company as well. It's a British company, but it bought by the Japanese company in 2015. But my company that I work in is quite huge, I would say. And I do have some friends that work in Deloitte and the Big Four, but they are on the skill work visa, so they are actually sponsored. So it's quite tricky and depends on your luck, I would say. There's a chance to work in this company with this HPI visa because there are some people who works in the company using the graduate visa from UK. The thing is that I noticed if you want to work with skill work visa, which is the sponsored one, there is a minimum wage. So I think it's implemented this year, and a lot of the application was rejected because of the ban of the minimum wage was raised, and the company doesn't want to pay the uh, entry level work or job that much. But this visa doesn't have the requirement to have the minimum wage, but for that visa, there's a minimum wage in UK, and you need to be able to follow that as a company. But the skill work visa has its own, I believe. So I would say there's a chance, yes, and it depends on how many left you have on your visa. So a lot of company will consider if your visa gonna expire in like next year. For me, for my case, I only spent it a month without a job, so I still have like 23 months for this visa. So it depends on your condition as well. If you already in UK for like several months and you haven't found a job, and it's gonna affect the application on a company, because I actually know someone. So we actually have a community as well for the HPA holders. I mean, you all know that I think most of you are from the Reddit, right? Some of them there are some of like uh story that they still haven't got a job for after like 6 months or a year. So it depends on your circumstances, I would say. So there's another question. Is there answering your question, Andrew, or do you have anything to ask again?
Yeah, Andrew, if you have any follow-up question, you can type it in the
Yeah.
chat. Meanwhile, I think I can read the question from Isan. So, did you
Mhm.
tailor your resume for most jobs you applied to? Moreover, he's surprised to see you have a 3 pages resume. Is that common for UK job market? And also, at
Okay.
which stage of application did you let the recruiters know that you are planning on going with HPI visa?
Okay. So in my case, I got this template of my resume from my mentor that is in Melbourne. So I kind of follow him, this template. I don't know by you mean like is three is too much or not enough, but this what my experience is. I mean, I would say if you have less, it will be better because the HR wouldn't have that much time to screening your CVs. So sorry, what was this question again? More of answer. Yeah. Uh, so I'm not actually have the knowledge for the common UK job market for the CV, but this works for me. And at which stage of the application did I let the recruiters know that are so for my experience that I only from the 20 company that I applied, I got this interview, one interview, and I already got the visa, so I can confidently say, yeah, I mean, I have this right works, I have this full rights to work in UK, and in your papers of the visa, you have the numbers to send to the recruiters that they can check that you're actually eligible to apply for to work in UK, and you can send that to the landlords for applying rent in UK because they will check your eligibility to stay in the UK, to work in UK. I think I have that number, but I don't know where I put it. So yeah, for the CV, I don't know by what you mean, like three is too much or too less.
I think I can add on about the resume. So,
Ah,
because I'm
yeah.
studying MBA and in the business school, we have some career services to advise our CV and so on. So, yeah, I think I get the concern is that the recommended resume is typically 1 page, but in your case, it's 3 pages. But from what I've heard, it really depends on your type of work. So, for example, if you're a business student, then you're going to like consulting, finance, and those kinds of graduate scheme jobs, then it is more favorable for you to have a 1 page resume because they are screening hundreds and hundreds of resume a day. So 1 page is enough for the recruiter to know you. But if your job is very technical and you have to list all of the technical requirements that you have and is suitable for the job, then 2 to 3 page is okay. So in the end of the day, it really depends on your job.
Thank you for that. Okay, so where was I left off before answering the question? So we covered the English requirement and list with the money to support yourself. And I don't have partner and children, but I believe they can join you with dependent visa, but you need to check it by yourself because I don't have the experience for that and I don't have knowledge for that as well because I'm not planning to bring my partner or children because I have none of that as for now. Okay. Anything anyone want to ask about the money? How much does it cost? Because you can always check in the website. It's pretty straightforward.
And if anyone
Yeah.
wants to ask directly to Kevin, just open your camera and mic. And if you don't want to, you can also type it in the chat. So Whichever
Yeah.
favorable to you, please do ask.
Yeah. So the documents you know to apply. So that's actors. Oh, so yeah, the timeline for the actors to be certified or finish their validation of your uh, diploma or the certification you have, they say to me it's 28 working days, but in my case, I got it after I paid, like after 2 days, I've paid them and I get the results straight away after 2 days. So that works really well for me. I don't have to wait until 28 working days. And yeah, passport, obviously, uh, if you are living in the English speaking country or if your study doesn't deliver in full English, you may need to prove your knowledge of English. And then, so uh, I would say this visa is not really quite well known amongst the in UK as itself because a lot of people that I've talked with, they have problem with the custom. Like some of the cases, even they got a lot of question like from the custom asking, is this like a real visa or like they just knew this visa when they checked the person that I was talking to when they are on entering UK. And for my case, the custom already know what kind of visa that I had, which is the HPI, but they still ask for me if I got a job or not. But it's not mandatory to have a job if you want to enter UK after you granted the visa, but they still ask. So, okay, we have another question.
Yeah,
Would
Isan
you be,
asks,
mhm.
would you be asked to put down 3 to 6 months deposit for housing if you got an income?
No. So in my case, I already got the job offer and I already accept the job offer. If you can provide that kind of documents, they will then ask for 3 or 6 month deposit for housing, for renting. They only ask that if you don't have job yet. At least that's a case that I know from quite of people here. Okay, so documents, personal savings, your PRP or e-visa online proof immigration. Yeah, prove your relationship if you want to bring your partner or children. And in my case, I'm from Indonesia and I need to do another health check for tuberculosis. So I need to do that as well. Okay, do we have another question? Okay, that makes
Nope,
sense.
but actually
Yeah.
I have a question because you
Okay.
mentioned about the fees that is associated with the visa and also healthcare
Mm-hmm.
surcharge. Can you
Mm-hmm.
reimburse those fees to your company, or in the end of the day, it's in you, it's on you?
No, no, I believe the company wouldn't cover you for that. But if you are applying for the skilled work visa, I believe the company will pay for that. And if you need to pay it by yourself first, you can reimburse that. But I would say it depends on the company, but most of it is like that. But for this one, because you're just applying for a visa without any ties to the company, you need to cover this all of by yourself, unfortunately.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So apply from outside UK. Of course, I am applying for outside UK because I haven't got the visa to enter UK. So you can check documents to apply. There's a process if you're already in UK and switching to the H-1B visa from another visa, which is I don't have any experience with that. So when to apply, you must within 5 years of being awarded a qualification from the eligible university, proving your identity, sport, there's a app to check. Okay, I think I have some bad experience with this as well because when I used the app, I was still in Indonesia and I have a problem connecting to it. So in the end, I need to use VPN and change my location to the UK so I can actually open the app because it wasn't connecting at all. So you have find that the same problem and you're living abroad, using a VPN helps. And also talking about using VPN, there are some job websites that requires you to be in that country. I don't know if it's Seekers or something or Seek, but if you want to apply to a company that's resides in UK, you need to uh, have your location in the UK. See another chat. Yeah.
A
On your
question from
case,
Andrew.
yeah.
So, on your
Mhm.
case, will your current company sponsor you to change your visa to be skilled worker visa after your HPI expired, or how is it?
Good question. And luckily, again, for me, from the start of the interview, I think it's the second interview, they asked me that, do I need sponsorship because they can give me sponsorship? But I already said to them that I already applied the visa, I already have this visa. So for now, you don't have to apply, but I only have 2 years to be working there. And then they said, okay, we can give you sponsor after 2 years. Just we will see how you perform, we will assess you, and just things like that. So in my case, I am lucky enough to be given skilled work visa for now, unless something changed, which is I cannot do if the company suddenly change their mind. And also, please keep that in mind. If your goal is to move to UK, this visa is not eligible in the route to be a permanent resident, or I would say is it indefinite leave to remain status. So in order to get that PR, permanent residency, you need to stay in the UK with the skilled work visa for 5 years. But for global talent visa, I believe it's just for 3 years. And after that, you need to wait another year to apply for your British citizenship. And this visa, the HPI visa, is not on the route for that. So your 2 years in the United Kingdom is not counted to for the pathway for the PR for the 5 years, but it's eligible for the 10 years route if you're accumulating uh, the total years you have spent in UK. If you are there for 10 years, then you can apply for the ILR. But for the 5 years route, it needs to be from skilled work visa or the global talent visa. So in my case, if I want to get my ELR, I need to change to skilled work visa, and the timing starts that. Then I can apply after 5 years for the ILR, because after your skilled work visa expired, you don't have options to extend after 5 years. There's some cases that I knew that like your skilled work visa is granted for like 3 years. You can extend it one time until 5 years, and then you can apply for the PR, because after expanding that, after spending 5 years with your skilled work visa, there's no options again to extend your staying in UK unless you want to get the PR. So there's that as well, to keep that in mind. So I have like 7 years now if I want to get my ELR. After that, I need to leave the country if I don't get my PR. Okay, that's documents part, partner, children. You may have want to take a look at this, but I don't have any experience on this. If you're switching on the visa, I don't have the experience on this as well. So they say if you can student visa, you must also have this. And also, there's some things that I need to mention. What you can do and you cannot do with this visa. This is quite helpful as well. So you can work in most jobs, look for work, be self-employed if you want to build your own business, but I don't know what the details on this. You might have to research for this as well. Live in the UK and partner eligible, volunteer work, travel abroad, and return to UK if you already obtain your PRP card or e-visa. If you just enter and if you haven't obtained it, you need to take them first, and you can now uh, go back and forth to the UK and outside based on the year of the validity visa. And you cannot apply for benefits like public funds, I would say it's like a subsidized money from the government. Work as a professional sport person, it's quite unfortunate. I like to play football, but I'm not that great, to be honest. But so you cannot be like an athlete here, or even the managers, I will say. Extend this visa. So yeah, this visa is not extendable. Apply to settle in permanent in UK because it's not eligible for the 5 years route, but it's for the 10 years route. If successful, you can get full list. Yeah, studying in HPI visa. If you wanna do like another master's or bachelor's, you cannot. You must change to student visa. But if the course that you want, let's say it's less than 3 months and it's not available for you to apply for student visa, you can. So, and I think that I don't think you can extend your student visa if you already have one. You can, yeah. So you may need to this scheme as well. So yeah, I think I cover most of it for the visa. If there are any question regarding for jobs, okay, there we
I
got some
think
question
the
as well.
information that you mentioned about what you can and what you cannot do in this HPI also answered the question that Andrew asked before about Big Four or other big companies. It means you can basically work in any company with this visa.
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter like what type of company you can apply for this visa as long as it's not a professional sports person as mentioned here.
yes.
And also Andrew asked about how long in weeks or months is your job hunting process again to get the understanding how hard or easy to get job in UK.
Okay, good question. Uh, so my job hunting actually starts in the early of this year. So I was graduating in December in Australia, right? And I still have some times left in Australia to like 3 months after my graduation. So I used that opportunity to work as casual because I cannot work for full time. So my plan was actually trying to get job in Melbourne, but I didn't get any sponsorship because it's way harder to find a work a sponsor in Australia. Like most of the company, like 99.9% prefers if you have already the visa first, and the process of the visa, it's for another story. So after I graduated in December, I start working in Melbourne for like 3 months. So March, I went back to Indonesia, and then when I start looking for job was in March. I applied the visa in April. I got the visa in May. I got an interview in May, and I got the job in third week of May, and in July, in May, June. In June, I said, yeah, okay, I can work in the first week of June because I really keen to work after like is it 6 months in like I was doing nothing basically from March to June, which like to job hunting, and also I was really keen to go in UK. But that is on my case, which is for everybody cases was quite different. So I have background in engineering, and as for my understanding, it's like because of the Brexit, I will say they kind of have this under uh manpower for some kind of area in engineering, I would say. So we have this WhatsApp group for the HPA holders that already in UK. We quite do some meetup and like for sharing, for meeting new people, making friends. And I haven't chance to know some of the people who already been here for like a year that still haven't got a job, and they just decide to go back from to their respective country. There are some struggling with 6 months, but it depends on your background, I would say. So uh, in my area, at least I knew there's a lot of openings as well, because in my applying for in my job hunting process, I say that that's like less than 25, but I got like an interview, or at least like an offer to discuss at least like 5 to 8 company, but I just accept the first company that want to have an interview with me. So after I got the first interview, went very well. They asked like how fast you can work for us, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it in 2 weeks. And then I just flew to the UK. Okay, I think we have another question.
Yeah, I think this will be the last question before we close our session today. So, a question from Isan. Do you have any recommendation on the job boards you use for job hunting?
Okay, so I actually use like the general websites like LinkedIn and like Job Seeker or Seek or something like that. Like I mentioned before, that some of the website doesn't allow you to apply if you're not in the location that the company are in, like in basically in UK. But this company my company I'm working with in, I think I found it in LinkedIn and I follow their links and it just applying from their website. So I applied from their website for my case. So, but in UK, I would say you can always have a good research first of which industry you want to work in and what are the companies that you want to apply, which position they have that aligned with you, with your experience. So it's always come back to that. Like if the recruiters see that your experience is aligned with what they need, with the role that are open, uh, it will, I would say you will have a pretty good chance getting the job. So yeah, and uh, so actually, I have made a promises with my friends in Melbourne to have this meeting to be in 10 p.m., which is in 10 a.m. in Melbourne, which is I think I make a mistake for the hour for the
Time
then in
zone.
Melbourne it's still 9 a.m. Yeah, for the time zone. So for this uh Indonesian association, I would say we couldn't end this if it's already uh, enough. But I will still open the session for them because a lot. I mean, I created this seminar basically because a lot of my friends that are in Melbourne like interested uh, to to work in UK with my visa, so I cannot just abandon them. It is my fault to start the session with the different time zone. I didn't realize I thought that it's gonna be like 10 a.m. When we started. So if you wanna join like after session in 1 hour, feel free. This is just like a recording that we're gonna upload in our YouTube channel in Indonesian Student Association. So it's up to up to Indira and there's Andy as well as a committee. So if it's like enough, or we can have another session, or if it's like just offline, not to stream. So yeah,
Yeah, so thank you so much, Kevin, for your insights today. I think all of the information has been very insightful. And despite like the different time zone arrangement between you and your Melbourne friends, I think a lot of
yeah,
people outside Melbourne here has got some pretty useful insights, maybe audience from Reddit. So I think
yeah,
even though your friends from Melbourne didn't join, the one that we have this
yeah.
hour was really insightful. So we are closing the
Mhm.
session today for everyone joining. Thank you so much for Kevin. Also, thank you so much for your insights. If you
Yeah,
are if you guys still want to ask Kevin some question, you can join another session in 1 hour, right, Kevin?
yeah. In
Yeah.
1 hour,
But
I'm gonna.
if you feel it is enough, then we will close the session today. So once again, thank you
Mhm.
so much and see you all.
Thank you all for the question. Bye bye.
Bye bye.